I just realized my camera wasn't on. We should be good. Let me make sure this is up and running so I don't make the same mistake as yesterday. It looks like we're good. All right. Welcome to the David Atencio Show. I'm David Atencio. First off, I will apologize for yesterday. I didn't realize I was muted. Alex helped me figure it out yesterday, but I was going through and I was watching and kind of, checking things out, and I realized I muted. Anytime I was full cam like this, I was muted. I was donezo. It was over. But we got it figured out. We got it. Sorry, my dog's down here. Don't give me that look, asshole. Yeah, I realized I was muted. I got it figured out. Got what was going on. I'm not going to explain it, but we should be good. Everybody should be able to hear me. Let me double check. Yep, we should be good. So let's move this over here. Pull this up. All right. Have we hit... Let's see. Get things running here. All right. So today we're going to start with something we talked about pretty heavily yesterday because it pissed me off. The Jay Jones situation. He just a quick update. I'm not going to get as into it as I did yesterday, but just a quick rundown. Jay Jones pretty much sent out text to a colleague of his wishing death upon one of his Republican colleagues, and wishing death upon his wife and upon his two children. Long story short, not okay. I was pretty pissed off about it yesterday. So we got some things here, some updates. Oh, let me pull this up. Oh no, we don't need this. This one, like I said, we don't have much. I don't have any articles or anything to read. There's really no major news. He's still rolling with his fake ass apology. Still rolling with, that's pretty much it. His fake ass apology. He hasn't dropped out of the race. But I got here Jay Jones. So I misspoke yesterday. Jay Jones was a state legislator. Now he's running for attorney general. I think I corrected it halfway through, but he's not going for district attorney. He's running for attorney general, which I think is worse. But I also, for people who don't know what the difference is, what specifically, and why is this so far behind? What specifically an attorney general is, I looked up the actual definition of kind of what it does. So there's a difference between, I guess not much besides power. There's a difference between a federal attorney general and a state attorney general. A state attorney general is the chief legal officer and chief law enforcement officer of a U.S. state or territory. The office holder acts as the state's top lawyer, representing the government and its residents in legal matters, and is responsible for enforcing both state and federal laws. So think of him as like the top cop, right? There have been rumors that have been coming out and circulating. I haven't seen anything factual on it, I guess, is a way to put it. Hold on. We're professional around here. Keep getting distracted. All right. There things about him saying he wants to kill, or he wants cops dead, or I'm trying to think of how it was worded. Maybe if cops were to die, then maybe they wouldn't be so gung-ho to kill blah 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 blah. Like I said, I haven't seen any factual proof on it, whether he did or didn't. I've just seen rumors of people saying it. Maybe I didn't look hard enough. Maybe there is proof out there. Maybe there isn't. Maybe it's some bullshit being spewed by people trying to start a rhetoric. But those are just rumors I've heard. Nothing factual I could find on it. But at the end of the day, he's still a psychotic piece of shit because there is factual proof he was wishing death, not only upon other people, but children. Let's see. He, as of right now, as the start of this show, still, like I said, rolling with his fake apology, where he didn't say I'm sorry or apologize, but just saying I sent regrettable text messages. And then he, there we go. Then he started to come out and say, what was it? Or no, sorry. He didn't lose any of his endorsements. He still hasn't dropped out of the race. The telling thing to me is that him not losing any endorsements shows that all the other Democrats that, or Democrats or businesses that are still endorsing him and supporting him are okay with that. Are okay with killing people because of their differing political beliefs. Are okay with killing kids because their parents believe a same way or believe a certain way. That's what it shows to me. That's just what I'm getting from it. I'm not going to go down the whole spiel I went down yesterday because I mean that was like half the show yesterday was going down that rant because I'm a person who believes in protecting the kids at all costs. But I don't know. I guess I'll keep watching it. We'll see what happens. Next on the docket, we got government shutdown is now on day 7. I personally didn't think it'd get this far. Long story short, government shut down because Democrats and Republicans couldn't come to a term on government funds. Democrats think it should be allocated this way. Republicans think it should be allocated this way. Nobody could agree. We couldn't get a majority vote. Couldn't get anything like that. So, boom, government shut down because if the government doesn't have any funds, they can't run. I see it as a bunch of politicians being crybabies. It's really all. I mean, that's the way I see it. Yes, I'm a big believer in where our taxes should be going, but at the same time, we need a government. We need our military getting paid. We need benefits. We need all sorts of shit that won't be able to be paid out because Democrats or Republicans or both are throwing temper tantrums, not being able to come to an agreement. But people have different beliefs. Some say it's Republicans' faults. Others say it's Democrats' faults because they want to send however much money to illegals. Republicans or Democrats say Republicans are being crybabies. It's whole thing. Yeah, but you can look into it. I'm not here. That's not the point of this. That's not why I'm trying to get too big into this. Why? There we go. That's why. Let me make sure you can hear me. Okay, we're good. I get worried now. Since yesterday, I get worried because anytime I full faced it, I was muted. But yeah. So I gotta switch this. We're gonna kind of get to. If I can do this. There we go. Okay. So what we're going to get into is, it's on, government shutdown is on day 7. There's 2 million people currently right now that are not getting paid. They still have to go to work, but they're not getting paid. Some of the big ones, I can't, that fly from yesterday, I still can't get rid of. The government shutdown is on day 7, full week now. The longest was Trump's last term. It was 35 days. It kind of looks like we're heading towards that way again, but I guess we will see. There's 2 big things that stayed out to me. Is military's not getting paid. That's a huge thing. If your military's not getting paid, I know. So I was in the Marine Corps. I just served 4 years and got out. But I personally was in the Marine Corps, and I know how much money sucks. You get paid like shit. So first off, you're getting paid like dog shit to begin with, and now they're going to take that money from you. I was looking into it. Yeah, they're getting paid, or they're not getting paid. They will get back pay when the government reopens. They'll get back pay. I thought I saw it on this article somewhere. Right here. The nearly 2 million U.S. military personnel remain at their posts without pay until the shutdown ends, according to a statement by the newly named Department of War. Formerly the Department of Defense, based on an executive order from Trump, unless Congress officially changes the name. The National Guard forces that Trump has deployed in the cities must also continue to work. So National Guard, Air Force, Marine Corps, Army. I feel like I'm missing one. National Guard, Air Force, Army, Marine Corps, Navy, and then the Space Force. Now that's still a thing, right? I think that's still a thing. Is the Space Force still a thing? We're gonna look this up. I'm pretty sure it is. Is the Space Force still a thing? Yes. Okay. I just wanted to make sure because I haven't heard anything about the Space Force since Trump's last term. Why is my bank calling me? Whatever. So yeah, all those branches, like I said, they still have to work, but they're not getting paid. And I know, especially if you're E1 through, we'll say E5, money's a struggle. You get paid. I mean, I think I was making $900 every 2 weeks, and that's not shit for working. I mean, fuck. There are days I would work. There were days I would work from we'll say 8 o'clock in the morning. Well, about 7:30 in the morning. Well, you'd get up 4:30 for PT, right? You'd go work out, come back, shower, shave, all that kind of stuff. Go to work about 7:30, 8 o'clock. Work till not 6 o'clock, till about 5 o'clock. Sometimes 6, 7, 8, whenever the hell you were told to go home. And then there were times where I would have to come in because I was an armorer, where people would be out in the field. I would have to come in and stay there overnight because I had to come and take weapons in from the officers and stuff that would come back from the field, from a training op, take their weapons in, stuff like that, and I'd be working all night. And there's some people that are out there probably doing that right now, not getting paid, and they're struggling. They have wives, they have kids, they have whatever, and I know your military paychecks are big, which you do get if you married and stuff like that. You do get more money. Hi, sweetheart. My babies. But we ooh, you trying to get out? But yeah, they get more money, and if you're married, stuff like that, not a lot more, but you get more. So it's just a whole thing, and I know bills suck and stuff like that. It's just gonna be hard for them. And motivation. These are the people that are fighting your wars, that are protecting you, that are doing all this sorts of shit, and you're not paying them. That alone should be the reason they're like, all right, we need to come to an understanding. But instead, billionaires out there that don't have to worry about money are throwing fucking temper tantrums. So now the normal people are getting fucked over it. We got. If we're looking at this, law enforcement, borders and homeland security, they're obviously still required to work. Of course, this will allow you to stay on the job, but they're not getting paid. Is pretty much what it is. Airports could be affected. 13,000 air traffic controls, 50,000 transportation security administration. So security are still required to show up for work but they're not getting paid, and they're scheduled to miss their first paycheck October 14th. Some of them aren't guaranteed back pay. From what I was seeing, some will get it and some won't get it. Just depends. Postal service is unaffected because it does not depend on Congress for funding. Food aid is going to continue, but we're going to get into that in a second. The Social Security Administration will continue to issue retirement, but will furlough 12% of its staff. So furlough is like temporary. Think of it as a temporary layoff. So if I'm a head guy at the Social Security fucking job place, I'm gonna text 12% of my staff, hey, don't come in today. You still have a job, but right now, don't come in today. And then this is pretty much just saying what I said. We're using USA Today for this purpose. Like I said, I try and pull from a bit of everywhere. And then, like I said, right here, the 15th shutdown. Government shutdown since 1981 is on track to become the fourth longest in U.S. history, eclipsing the 6-day shutdown in 1995. The longest shutdown lasted 35 days during Trump's first term from 2018 to 2019. And that was also the last time the government was shut down, was Trump's last term. But like I said, it's not affecting a lot of people right now. It could eventually. It's not right now. But we will also, we'll see what ends up happening. Now I want to move on to WIC, because WIC is a big thing that could be affected. Right now, it's not taking a big hit, but WIC's a big thing. You got families on WIC, mothers on WIC who won't be able to feed themselves or their children if it gets shut down and gets no funding. So how is WIC funded? WIC is a discretionary program. I'm using FRACChat, Food Research and Action Center. How is WIC funded? WIC is a discretionary program subject to annual appropriations. Good Lord. WIC is a discretionary program subject to annual appropriations. What happens to WIC during a government shutdown? WIC remains open for as long as funding is available. Historically, WIC has been able to maintain services for participants for a short period of time during shutdowns. This is done by drawing on specific types of funding. So they have funding set aside, kind of think of it that way. They have funding set aside to be able to pull from in the case that government does shut down, but it doesn't last forever. However, a shutdown at the start of a fiscal year presents additional challenges as states do not have much funding on hand. State budgets also are pressed in many states, meaning general funds may not be available to help cover WIC. Based on what we now know, it could be difficult for WIC to maintain operation if the shutdown goes beyond a week. So now we're getting to a point with what I'm getting from this right here. We're getting to a point, since this is going beyond a week, now WIC's starting to struggle. They're going to be able to maintain it for a little bit longer, but it's going to get to a point to where they're going to have to start making cuts. They're going to have to start, look, this person needs it more than you, we're cutting you off. And it still could mean to that person, you know, this guy's making $20,000 a year while this guy's making $19,000 a year, right? And that WIC is what can stop them from, and now instead of paying their rent, they got to buy food for their kid. They got to buy food for their family instead of using WIC. So now they can't pay rent. They're getting kicked out of their house. It could be a whole problem. Unless told otherwise, WIC participants should continue to use their benefits and attend scheduled appointments, while eligible people should continue to apply. So that pretty much, like I said, right now WIC's doing fine, but it's getting to a point to where that's another thing, is we're going to have families starting to go hungry here soon, fairly soon, not tomorrow, but fairly soon. We're going to have families who are going to start to go hungry, lose houses because they got to start allocating their finances, which I personally don't think you should rely on WIC as your sole purpose for food, but there are some people who can't help it. You know, there are some mothers out there who are working 2 jobs, but with housing right now, rent's insane. I'm a landlord and I try and keep my rent at a decent price, but I've seen, before I bought my house, I see some people, I was looking to rent, and some rents, I couldn't find anything that wasn't, a 1 bedroom is an okay price, but anything, if you have kids, you're fucked, because, and 2 bedrooms and higher, I couldn't find anything under $950, $1,000. It's just, it's insane, and you can't afford rent, and food is still through the roof. It's gotten a little better, but one of Trump's campaign promises was lowering food prices. And like I said, it has gotten a little bit better, but not what he ran on. And that this is going to put this damn fly. This is going to put a lot of people out of home. A lot of people are going to starve, be homeless, and if they don't get it underway, if it's another 35-day, 40-day, 50-day, however long they decide to go, because it looks like nobody's budging. From what I was seeing, all these millionaires sitting pretty, just not going to doing anything that day. It looks like they're not budging. Nobody's budging. Republicans aren't budging. Democrats aren't budging. Somebody's going to have to give, because the people are going to start to struggle. It's going to start to show with our military, going to start to show with WIC, with law enforcement. Ow. With all sorts of people that are getting not laid off but furloughed, stuff like that. It's just something that they need to figure out, and they need to figure out soon. Okay. So now, let's see. Maybe, hello. There we go. Next thing on the docket is about yesterday with Trump getting cut off, right? He was, we'll just do a quick run through again. He was sending Trump's people to Chicago and Illinois. They were like, you know, pretty much, fuck that, you're not doing that. Start suing him to stop him from doing it, and it's going to be a lawsuit, blah, 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 a whole court case. We know how that is. Trump's done that how many times by now? But it is, now people are talking, including Trump himself. He said it's not out of the realm of possibility of him invoking the Insurrection Act. So before we get it, I just did a quick Google search. What is the Insurrection Act? The Insurrection Act is a federal law that gives the U.S. president power to deploy the military. What the hell? The Insurrection Act is a federal law that gives the U.S. president power to deploy the military within the United States to suppress insurrections, domestic violence, or rebellion. It serves as a major exception to the that act of 1878, which genuinely prevents the military from engaging in domestic law enforcement. Um, Pretty much, the dummy version is he can send it in anyway. If he invokes the Insurrection Act, he can, no matter if he's getting blocked, if he's getting sued because that judge blocked him. If he's getting blocked, if he's getting sued, if whatever, legally he can't do it. If he invokes the Insurrection Act, he can send him in anyway. But I personally don't think he wants to do that because that opens up a whole nother can of worms. It'll be one big shit show. It could spark something that sparks something that sparks something, and it could potentially be really bad. So my only thing is, what Trump said was I'm trying to think how to word this. He said if deaths start happening, he'll be more likely to invoke it. But for right now, God damn, I'm going to get his ass. Oh, I missed him. I didn't want to break my TV. Where'd you go? Did I get you? No, you're gone. You motherfucker. Anyway, this whole series, there's going to be that fly. I mean, I know they die after like 3 days, but there's always going to be one, and it's going to piss me off. And this whole show is just going to be me fighting a fly the whole time. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, he said if it's death and it gets too bad, so like the George Floyd riots, if they're burning down buildings, people are dying, then he's going to be like, all right, you guys are dickheads. We're doing this. And he's going to send in, then he's going to invoke the Insurrection Act, send in the National Guard and get it dealt with. But I think at the same time, Trump's unpredictable. You never know what the hell he's going to do. It's one of the reasons I like the guy. Keeps our enemies on their toes. But but in this case, it's kind of worrying because he could just wake up tomorrow and be like, you know what, I'm not dealing with this. Boom, send him in. Fuck it. Or fill out whatever fucking document he has to sign to do it. But pretty much, he could send him in and get it taken care of with this act. I don't think he's going to unless people start dying. I was looking into it. Nobody saw that. It didn't look like he's going to invoke it. But again, he's unpredictable. So I guess I don't know why. Hold on, let's do this. But we'll kind of see. I don't remember why I had this. What the hell is going on here? I don't even remember reading this. Oh, right. This is what I was. So the insurrection law hasn't been used since 1992. The law, which gives the president authority to deploy the military to quell unrest in an emergency, has typically only been used in extreme cases and almost always at the invitation of state governors. So anytime this has been used, well, almost always been used, is agreed with the state governor, which is crazy right now because the Illinois governor doesn't want it to happen. The act was last invoked by President George H.W. Bush during the Los Angeles riots of 1992. Under law, the National Guard and other military troops are genuinely prohibited from conducting civilian law enforcement, but the Insurrection Act allows for an exception, giving troops the power to directly police and arrest people. Using the act would represent a significant escalation of Trump's effort to deploy the military to democratic cities. Since his second term as president began in January, he has shown little hesitation in seeking to wield government authority against his political opponents, as he pushes to expand the power of presidency in ways that have tested the limits of the law. You could tell, the way this is worded, he has shown little hesitation in seeking to wield government authority against his political opponents. We're not going to get into that, because that's opening a whole other can of worms. Democrats, like I said, I'm going to try and keep a middle ground in this, but the Democrats did it first, right? I think using it to take out your political opponents I don't think it's a good thing, but the Democrats did it first. They opened the can of worms. Now they got to eat it too. They started it. It's pretty much one of those, you started it. I don't think we should retaliate with it, but at the same time, they started it. You hit me, I'm going to hit you. Um, but we're not going to get into that, at least not right now. So, but that's pretty much the last time it was used was 1992 for the Los Angeles riots. But if federal judge has temporarily barred guard troops from heading to Portland, Oregon, from heading to Portland, Oregon through a separate judge has allowed for a now deployed force to proceed in Chicago. Oh yeah, where federal agents have embarked on a sweeping crackdown on illegal immigration. Well, it's and Trump right here. This is the quote. I think this is what I was looking for. Well, it's been invoked before. Trump told reporters in the Oval Office he has claimed troops are needed to protect federal property and personnel in carrying out their duties, as well as assisting an overall drive to suppress crime. If you look at Chicago, Chicago is a great city where there's a lot of crime, and if the governor can't do the job, we'll do the job. It's all very simple. So it's pretty much him just saying it's not off the table. It's an option, but it sounded like he doesn't want to, but if the governor's not going to clean up his streets, then Trump's going to clean the streets up for him. Which, like I said, I have a buddy who lives in Chicago, and the violence is pretty prominent there. It's pretty bad. So something does need to be done about it. And then we got, could Trump use the Insurrection Act? One way that a sitting president has deployed the Guard domestically without a state's consent was through the Insurrection Act. A set of laws meant to address major civil unrest. It also allows federal troops to take part in law enforcement activities like searches and arrests. So like I said before, it's just state governor, judges don't want me to come in with the National Guard. I'm going to fucking do it anyway, because it's bad enough. It's only for extreme cases. And I don't think they've hit that point yet. And I'm seeing, when I was doing my research, I was seeing two separate things. Some people showing violence, some people showing like, look, dude, we're just sitting here singing songs, holding up signs and yelling. And like I said yesterday, if we're gonna send them in, we send them to the violent ones. We at least have some at the peaceful ones, because it only takes one wrong word, one wrong hit for it to turn violent. But so I think they still need to be there to keep the peace, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But I guess we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'll keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens. Talk about it more, because this could light a match and turn into something really bad we don't want it to. But I guess only time will tell. All right, the next thing, I couldn't find much on this. Shocking, I know. I couldn't find much on this, but I did find this article. There was a man arrested pretty much with Molotov cocktails. Okay. He was outside of a church. They were about to hold mass. There was a major event. The cops were sent out earlier with all the shootings and stuff like that going on with churches. The cops were sent out because it was a pretty big event. Cops were sent out to kind of sweep the area, make sure everything was clear it out, make sure nothing crazy was going to happen. They found a man in a tent with Molotov cocktails, and it was found. We'll just read this article. It's not a long article. That's pretty much about it. So court documents are giving new insight into the arrest of a man of accused. This happened. Okay, you know what? It says it. Having a tent of explosives on the steps of a high-profile D.C. cathedral last weekend. So this was last weekend. It was over the weekend, or maybe I can't talk today. The Metropolitan Police Department said Louis Gary, I don't know, 41, had set up a tent on the steps of the Cathedral of St. Matthew's on the Apostle on Rhode Island Avenue Northwest, and refused to leave Sunday morning. Go away. Court documents obtained by WUSA 9 show MPD officers were helping clear the block of a special religious event at the cathedral when one officer noticed Gary, we're just going to say Gary on the top of the steps shortly before 5:15 a.m. So this is early in the morning. This wasn't like 8:30, 9:30 in the morning right before the event. No, they were sweeping this out early. So this guy got there early. He was ready to go. The officer reportedly told Gary that he needed to move the tent he had erected on the stairs of the church grounds. That is when Gary allegedly refused and told the officer, "You might want to stay back and call the federales. The federals. The feds. We'll say the feds. Stay back and call the feds. I have explosives/bombs. A sergeant came to help and told Gary that she was with the bomb squad. Court documents described Gary as sounding agitated as he spoke through the tent. When the sergeant told Gary, I am struggling today. Described Gary as sounding agitated as he spoke through the tent. When the sergeant told Gary there was going to be an event and they needed him to move, he allegedly admitted that he was aware of the event before threatening to throw an explosive out of the tent. This is where it gets crazy. You're sitting in a tent, right? You're up to no good. You have bombs or Molotovs or whatever it was in your tent, and cops show up. I think he was having some mental issues going on to begin with, because who in their right mind is like, oh hey, I have a bomb in here, I have Molotovs in here, watch out. Most people are going to try. They're immediately going to hit panic mode, try and get out of the situation. But evidently this guy just doubled down. He said, do you want me to throw one out? Gary is quoted as saying in the court documents, I'll test one out in the street. I have 100+ of them. If you just step back, I'll throw one in the street. No one will get hurt. There will be a hole in the street. If you just step back, I'll take out that tree. No one will get hurt. There will be a hole where that tree used to be. What do you do when you hear that as a cop? I mean, that would terrify the hell out of me. The officers then explained to Gary that if he did not leave, he would be removed against his will, to which he allegedly said, several of your people are going to die from one of these. So my question here is, maybe it's missing some context. Why the hell are the cops they hear a guy has explosives, he's threatening them, here, move back, I'll throw one and show you I have them. And they're like, dude, just get the fuck out of here. Just leave. Please just get the fuck out of here. No, somebody says they have explosives, you do something about it. While trying to de-escalate the situation, the sergeant agreed to look at something Gary had written. Upon opening the tent, the sergeant reportedly saw a butane light in Gary's hand and several pages of torn out notebook paper with writing on it. The paperwork was reportedly titled Written Negotiations for the Avoidance of Destruction of Property via Detonation of Explosive. I'm about to give up. We're about to stop the show early. Holy shit. The paperwork, let's see if we can do this. The paperwork was reportedly titled Written Negotiations for the Avoidance of Destruction of Property via Detonation of Explosives. Thank you. It is allegedly revealed Gary's significant animosity towards the Catholic Church, members of the Jewish faith, members of SCOTUS, and I don't know why it says ICE/ICE facility. Oh, and ICE/ICE facilities. After allegedly confirming he had explosives on him, court documents state Jerry ignited a butane lighter and said, you better have these people step away or there's going to be deaths. I'm telling you now. The officer and sergeant stepped back from the tent and notified the surrounding officers and the command staff. Officers then learned Gary had reportedly been barred from the church on September 26 after setting up a tent on the church steps. So it sounds like he set up a tent on the church steps. Church was like, look, dude, this is our property. Go the fuck away. He was later reportedly apprehended after stepping away from his tent to a nearby wooded area to urinate. The officers say he resisted arrest, tried to pull away, but he was eventually pulled into handcuffs. And then this pretty much goes on to say there was a large cache for homemade destructive devices. He's been charged with unlawful entry, manufacture, transfer, use, possession, transportation of Molotov cocktails or other explosives. I'm not reading all that. But he got a lieu of charges. But I feel like why I wanted to bring this up is, one, it's disgusting. He was going to, I don't know if he was going to Molotov people as they were trying to walk into the event. Maybe he was going to wait for the event to start, kick off, walk in there, and start dropping Molotovs. But this, I'm going to lose my mind. But this, where was it? Right here. It allegedly revealed Gary's significant animosity towards the Catholic Church, members of the Jewish faith, members of SCOTUS, and ICE/ICE facilities. Why? It seems to be all these. Oh yeah, I forgot I looked up the Space Force. It seems to be all these. Let me go full screen here. Maybe there we go. It seems to be all these psychotic people, and that they're easily persuaded. We'll say. They're watching news. They're scrolling on TikTok, Twitter. Just doom scrolling, doing whatever, and they're seeing all these calls for these people are evil, they're fascists. Like I was saying yesterday, the Jay Jones situation, they see that, he thinks that way, why can't I? And then you get people that agree with it, but then you get the really crazy people that go out there and try and do it, who go out there with Molotovs at a church. People just try to go out there, worship God. People going out there, they have an issue with the Jews. They have an issue with, it could be said for Muslims. People have an issue with Muslims, with stuff like that. And it's the people going out there and saying that they're Nazis. They want to take your children. They want to do this. They want to do that. They're evil people. They're bad people. And the argument used all the time, if you had the chance to go back in time and kill Hitler before he did anything, wouldn't you? So making people think, hey, these are evil people, are going to make them go out there and make Molotov cocktails and try and Molotov a damn church. Because it's spewed so much now that Christians, Catholics, etc. are so evil. Let's go ahead and let's stop them. Let's put an end to it. Oh, we need to wipe them out. That's why they're going in and they're shooting up churches. That's why they're showing up to Catholic churches with Molotovs. Just lighting people up. And the crazy thing is, nobody wants to take responsibility for it. The media doesn't want to take responsibility for it. The Democratic leaders don't want to take responsibility for it. Nobody at all wants to take responsibility for it. But we have people out here dying in the streets, getting shot up when they're going to worship Jesus or God, or, you know, they're going to school or anything like that. And it's the hateful rhetoric that is being put out there about a specific group of people. It can be said for everybody, but right now it's prominent amongst going out there, shooting Charlie Kirk, shooting Donald Trump, trying to take out judges, trying to Molotov a church, going into a Catholic school and lighting it up because they're evil children. I can't remember what the exact words were, but it was something along those lines. And it's disgusting. There's no other way of putting it. It's pure fucking evil, and it's disgusting and needs to be stopped. Somebody needs to be held accountable for it. I don't know if it's just going to take... I know this isn't going to happen because nobody likes to admit they're wrong, but somebody in the Democratic Party, somebody on the news coming out and be like, hey, look, we fucked up. They're not as evil as we've been making them out to be, but you guys need to stop. We apologize, blah, 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 blah. It's not going to happen. People have too high of egos to be able to come out and say, hey, they'll come out and say, oh, violence is wrong, but they won't do anything to stop the violence. They won't do anything to stop the assassinations, to stop the mass shootings, to stop these fucking psychos showing up to a Catholic church to try and Molotov the people there, or whatever the hell else. Thank God he was stopped, because who knows what his plan was. Maybe he was going to go in there, and once people were at mass, he was just going to start throwing Molotovs around. And it could have been really bad. It would have been an insane amount of deaths. But this, I don't know. It's stuff like Jay Jones, like the news, like our political leaders that feed into this rhetoric, and it's rhetoric, and it's disgusting. Something needs to be done. Something needs to stop, and it might be too late. I don't know. It's been over the last, we'll say 5-10 years. It's been so drilled into their head how evil the other side is, whether it's Democrats or Republicans, how evil the other side is, how evil Donald Trump is, Kamala Harris is, how evil Christians are, how evil everybody else is. I think it might be too late to be able to come back from that way of thinking, but it's worth a try. And somebody, whether it's Democratic leaders, whether it's news outlets, somebody needs to come out and try and be like, hey, this is too much. Showing up with Molotovs to churches, showing up and shooting up. It's too much. We shouldn't have said what we said. We apologize. We took it too far. And I just don't think that that's something that is going to be done. I think, like I said, it's too late. But I guess we'll see. We'll see. I mean, the violence is just going to continue. The unnecessary death is just going to continue. And I don't know. It's crazy. It's getting too much, but I guess we'll see. But that is all I had for today. 4 things. Kept it about, where am I at? Kept it about 40 minutes this time. I went over an hour yesterday. That Jay Jones situation pissed me off. But yeah, just a quick recap. Government shutdown is on day 7. Jay Jones is still a piece of shit psycho that hasn't apologized, still hasn't dropped out of the race or lost a single endorsement. There's no way he's going to win the race now after seeing that. Virginia's more, I mean, it's more of a purple state, but it's more right-leaning than anything else. Yeah, Jay Jones, Trump and the Insurrection Act, and this Louis Gary psycho. Everything we covered today. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I had something else to say to you guys. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will see you.